Hi, I'm Kid Maker, and this is a mini bear trap that I made a year ago from now. I think it is pretty cool, so I'm making this video to show you how I made it and how I assembled it and and how it goes in action. So let's begin. So this is the 3D model, and I made this in Fusion. So let's see the history of the design. So first, I made a cylinder, and then I use a surface which is zigzagged, and I use the surface to I use the zigzag surface to cut the cylinder in half, so I get this tooth-like pattern. And then I remove all the materials I don't want, and what I get left is this closed teeth. After that, I need to make the extension for the teeth so I can hold the teeth in place. So these are the extension pins, the holder of the teeth, and then the base houses the teeth, and the holder goes inside this this joint so it doesn't fall out. After that, I'm making the spring plates. And then I made the dog. And then I made a keychain. I made a hole so that you can attach a keychain to it. Then I made the pin, which secures the spring plate to the base. And then I made the trigger plate, which at first I made it a circle, but then I made it a square because a square doesn't spin around, so it's more stable. And then I added some chamfers and some fillets, and the work is done. So how it works is actually like this. So to set this up, you have to first close the two. So this is how the spring plate will be like, because there's a spring here, so it will pop them up in the beginning. So you use your hand and you close the two teeth together, and then you use your fingers to pull them down while they're closed. And then you close, and then you pull down the teeth, and then you pull up the dog, and now the dog keeps the teeth from snapping, right? And as you hit the trigger, and this one goes down, and because there are springs in the spring plate, and the spring plate want to kick this teeth to go up, right? So the teeth will spring together, and that is how it basically works. So next we are going to see how I assembled this. So I actually took apart the bear trap. This is the base, teeth, dog, the trigger, springs, spring plates, and the pins for the spring plates. So first up, we're going to attach assemble the spring plates. So first, you insert the pins a bit. Let's try the right one. After you insert the pin just a little bit, you put in the springs, and then you push in the pin a little bit more, but don't push it through it. Now you take one of the spring plates, and then you try to get one of the wire. You try to get this spring to go up, so you can insert the spring plate. Okay, so by now you can push it through. Okay, now it's already through. And because 3D printed stuff are flexible, you can just pop it inside and it shouldn't break. Now, after you pop in one, the other part can be hard to pop in, so what you do is not to use brutal force. What you do is you press this inside. Now this goes through the other side, which is already inside, so that's fine. And then you cover this. After you line the holes up, you press it down and the pin locks them inside. Perfect. So now I'm going to do the same for this side. Then what you want to do is put this dog inside. So my design, this is actually it's like a hook. Once it goes inside, it's hard for it to go out. So push it in, and it doesn't come out easily, right? And you put the trigger plate on the dog. It should fit nicely. If it doesn't, you can use some glue, but for me it's good. Oops, did it in the wrong direction. Yep, so now this one bites onto the dog. Then lastly, you put the teeth on, which is simple because this is flexi, so you can just put it inside. Let's test if it works. A bit too sensitive, I guess. Yeah, it does work. And I forgot to tell you that there's a spring securing mechanism here that that you might not see. So here's one little bump, and here's the second bump. What these does is it holds the spring in place. So if your spring is not in place, you can mess it around and get it right. So what I think is cool about this project is this one is almost 100% 3D printed. Only the springs are not, which means if you want to make this, you can definitely make this. Whether if you have a 3D printer or if you don't, you can always use the online 3D printing service, and it's not very expensive. So I will put this CAD model on Thingiverse, and you can go check it out yourself. I'm also going to put the specifications and the link of where I bought this spring. And I'm going to give you the link of the spring and some specs in case you can't buy it on that link. And I hope if you want to make this, you can make it. Also, you can see this metal-like color. Actually, I used to have 2 of these, but I lost one of this, so oops, let me adjust the camera. I lost one of these, so I had to print one new, and I didn't have the time to paint it over. Yep, this one is actually painted, and I use a kind of oil pen, a kind of grease pen, and the effect is actually amazing. So if you want to give your bear trap a cool looking tone, you can try to use different colors. You can paint this red, you can paint this green, you can paint this gold, right? So I hope you like this episode. If you do, please give me a like, and I mean, if you do, you can leave it in the comment, and I think I can make more of these toys in the future. So thank you. Kid Maker out.